Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. I am your host, Richie, here with my guys, Window One, Mr. Idris Salam, a.k.a. Bosco from the Bronx. We've got my man, Brett Bandick, originally from upstate New York, currently in Winter Haven, Florida. How you doing, boys? Good to see you both.
Oh, it's good to be back, man. About that time of year, January football, postseason is here. Anything goes. It's either win or go home, baby. Let's do this.
OKC.
Yeah, win or go home is right, man. Super Wild Card Weekend is upon us. That is what we are hitting on tonight. But before we go there, we got two small segments. I want to talk about the crazy coaching carousel in the NFL, and we're also going to give a little love to each team in an individual manner and explain how they all got here. Because for some teams, it's going to be a one and done, but a one and done should not, cancel a team from being celebrated for making it, because not everybody makes the playoffs. And, a couple of these teams really had to move some mountains to get here, and you got a couple of Cinderella stories in the mix. You got the two favorites on a bye. Very exciting week in the league. Super Wild Card Weekend, undeniably, consistently is one of the best weekends. And you even got the Monday touch now, because with the expanded playoffs, the expanded teams, this is the third consecutive year, if I'm not mistaken, that 5 and 4 in the NFC are doing a Monday night game. Last year, it was the Cowboys ending the legendary career of Tom Brady. This year, it's the Buccaneers in that same time slot, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to be hitting on the NFC later in the week. But before we even get started, boys, I want to hit on this coaching carousel. We had some really good conversation prior to starting this. So you guys take it away, man. So much going on in the league. And I think the best way to play this, I'm going to name a coach, unemployed, or possibly leaving somewhere. And I'm going to do a little round robin with you boys. Say, where are these guys going? Because this is the last time we're going to talk about these guys for a few weeks. Baseball's around the corner, NBA heating up, primetime playoffs.
Yeah.
Gonna start with the New England Patriots. Get the elephant out of the room.
There you
go. The man with the most Lombardi trophies as a head coach. Going to start with our resident Patriot fan. Bretsky, what have you heard? I know that this morning you mentioned a little bit to me. What have you heard?
Yeah, word on the street. He's gonna stay in Foxborough. I saw an article a few days ago. To the guys higher up saying that. He wants to relinquish his GM duties to keep this head coaching position. I think it's the right move. I mean, he already signed a contract before the season even started, and he's just a loyal guy in general. So I see him staying, possibly bringing over Vrabes, bringing back over Josh McDaniels. They're gonna bring the Beatles back together. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's definitely a possibility. I'm not going to throw this out the book, so far, but I like the possibility of the other two coaches joining. It's Derrick Henry's. He's done in Tennessee. I can possibly see him going with Vrabes to New England. It's not out of the blue. I can see it happening. It is a possibility once again, but I see Belichick. He's going to stay in the borough, man. I don't see him going anyplace else at the moment. He's a Patriot for life. He's going to retire a Patriot.
Going to expand on your point, and then I'm going to throw it to Idris. Bill O'Brien. I mentioned this on my morning show today. Formerly wore the GM hat as well as head coaching duties for the Houston Texans. And this is the era where they had J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson, to name a few. I believe that there's a possibility that they might move him upstairs. Figure out the next offensive coordinator, to your point, who could potentially be Josh McDaniels. I'm not all the way sold on Vrabes coming back. I'm 50-50 on that for one simple reason. He had a pretty good tenure in Tennessee all in all. And I do believe that before he goes back to New England, he does want to explore if he could be a head coach for possibly a team like the Commanders or maybe the Falcons, somebody that needs a head coach right now. But it wouldn't blow my mind if you see him back. I do believe that there's a higher probability of seeing a Matt Patricia sighting back in the borough because I really don't believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are all that interested in bringing him back. I have an idea of who the Eagles might go for, and I'm not too happy about that. But Idris, your thoughts on the immediate future of Bill Belichick and some of the other characters that Brett and I mentioned?
Yeah, I think O'Brien goes up in the office. Bill sticks around the coach. I think Vrabel may come back, but I think if Vrabel doesn't come back, I think they'll bring Patricia back, just because he's a New England guy.
A lot of familiarity.
Yeah, and I think Bill is not too far away from breaking Don Shula's record. And I don't think he wants to give it up until he gets Shula. I mean, he's like right there. He's, I think, 15 games away or something like that. He's somewhere between 10 and 15 games away from Shula. I mean, like I told Brett on air, the Pats are really not a bad team. They just need a quarterback. And I think if they can bring somebody in, Brett had mentioned off air, draft a quarterback, maybe sign someone like Cousins, someone to be a bridge, sit the guy down as a backup, let him learn the system. Because Josh McDaniels, he sucks as a coach, but he's a damn good OC.
Yep. Yeah, man. Certain guys are specialists at being coordinators. You look at a guy like a Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
He didn't succeed with the St. Louis Rams when they were still there in St. Louis. He had an interim cup of coffee with the New York Giants at the end of the Eli Manning era. I don't necessarily know if he would have been good his second go around because he didn't get truly like the biggest opportunity. Now he is doing great things for Andy Reid's squad in KC because this year the backbone of the defending world champions is the defense.
Yeah.
Defense, Idris. A lot of controversy in East Rutherford. I spoke about it some on my show this morning. Wink Martindale. It just seems like more and more details are starting to come out now.
Yeah.
It appears that this was truly like a bit of a big dick match between him and Dabes. But at the end of the day, I'm old school, bro. The coach is the coach. The head coach is the head coach.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, chain of command goes through him. And it appears that part of the reason why the Wilkins brothers were X'd out of the Giants' future plans, now granted, these are the two lieutenants for Mr. Martindale, is that they were only reporting to Wink and kind of undermining Dabes. So in that regard, I do get why Dabes would feel disrespected. He is the head coach. And I know that Wink was interested in being a head coach, Philadelphia, man. That is my worry. The Giants basically amicably, I wouldn't say amicably, but they were able to get out of the thing with Wink, save $3 million, but now Wink can go anywhere he wants. With the familiarity in that division, I'm just going to call it now. The top three, all in the East. The Commanders are under construction. If Dan Quinn takes a head coaching job, that Dallas Cowboys job becomes open, and you cannot sleep on the possibility of him going to Philadelphia either.
Yeah, at first when it happened, I was really disappointed because I thought Wink was going to stick around.
Absolutely.
But as I started hearing more and more about why it happened, I was like, okay. And when I looked at how the Giants were ranked in defense, like they were like 23rd in one category and 27th in pass defense, I was like, that's not that good.
Yeah, they blitzed an awful lot. It's part of his scheme, but the one thing they did elite this year, and it kept them in a lot of games, was causing turnovers. They are tied with the NFL's best team, the Baltimore Ravens, in the category. But to your point, Idris, they have given up a lot of big plays. I mean, look no further than the Dallas Cowboys sweep of us. That was pretty brutal. And to be fair, the Patriot game, the two Commander games,
the Jets game,
the Eagles and the Jets, those are games that sometimes stabilize and kind of push the stats where it's not really telling the whole story. I got nothing but respect for Wink as an X's and O's guy, but I'm old school. You respect the head coach always.
And also, you know what killed us a lot, and this is what goes on Wink and the brothers. Our team couldn't tackle.
God no. God.
Yeah.
They
a lot of missed tackling.
Tackle crime in a daycare, so they couldn't tackle. I looked at Michigan and Washington play the other night. Did you see the Michigan players? They were tackling, wrapping up.
They were. Yes, they were.
You wasn't getting loose from one player. And I'm like, and I look at that and I say, and like you said, you got to report to the coach. The coach, that's the man. You got to report.
Bottom line, when you start dividing the locker room, and this is something that I thought about after taking a step away from being emotional about it.
Yeah.
Brian Dable did a good job in the sense of not dogging out Wink and not making it too obvious in the media, because a lot of players were not even necessarily in the know that there was a legit amount of turmoil between the guy who runs the offense, the guy who oversees the offense, head coach, and of course Mike Kafka, and DC Wink Martindale. I'm a little disappointed because when you consider that Wink's 60 years old and has been around this for a long time, it's a little immature. And I'm disappointed in that regard. I understand that philosophically sometimes guys just have different points of view, but you got to respect the main man. Before we move it along to how these playoff teams got here, want to mention a couple of other names. Boys, where is Antonio Pierce going? Is he reuniting in East Rutherford, or is he staying in Las Vegas?
He's staying. He's staying put.
I tend to agree, Brett, even though I'd love to have him.
I think he's staying, but my little bird told me the Giants are trying to bring him to New York.
Well, yeah, they've already made that clear that they're interested. Shout out to Mass Quentin Moore.
Yeah,
I think the most logical to run the defense, probably Leslie Frazier. Yes. But I think AP is like what they hope they get, but they'll settle for Frazier. Frazier is a very good coach in his own right. Bretsky, what do you think? Las Vegas for sure?
He's staying in Vegas. My two questions. Now, what's the verdict with Pete Carroll? Is he staying in Seattle, or is he done? Is he out the door?
He's still an advisor, though.
But yes.
I mean, is the door swinging both ways in that? I mean, what?
I think he's out, though.
Still in the family, but he's done on the sidelines.
Yeah, I think he's out.
That's what I recently heard.
The Raiders with AP, I don't think they're going to let AP walk. They did that with Versace. They don't want to make that mistake. I can't see
them making the same mistake twice. I will say this: Jim Harbaugh, if he comes back to the pros, I think it's a no-brainer that he goes to the Los Angeles Chargers.
I would say that, or the Commanders.
The Commanders is a possibility. That
I would say that, or the Commanders.
But I do believe that if Belichick doesn't go to the Commanders, it's Bieniemy's job. I think they kind of hired him as that assistant head coach, as kind of like the preconceived notion that he was going to take over for Ron Rivera. In closing, before we move it along, I think we all agree on this, but speak up if you don't. Arthur Smith will not coach in the NFL anytime soon again.
I 100% agree with that one. Oh, yeah.
Dan Quinn is not a shoo-in to stay with the Cowboys. I'm just going to say it now, and I might be off base. I'm predicting Seattle for Dan Quinn.
That'd be the perfect place for him to go.
I tend to agree. I do. If he does stay, they're going to pony up the bucks because he's the premier defensive coordinator in this league right now. Him and Spags, next level in my opinion.
They're going to dump the truck in his yard, man.
And Stephen Belichick, son of Bill, he is a rising star, but he's still got a ways to go. But he is a rising star.
He's climbing up. He's climbing up.
I mean, you have an encyclopedia for a teacher. It doesn't get better than having an X's and O's guy like Bill Belichick. I mean, it don't get better than that.
Yeah, the past 3 years, I mean, Belichick's kid has done wonders for that defense. So if he doesn't get promoted within that organization, which I can honestly see happening, he will get promoted.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, somebody's going to pick him up. I mean, I can see him going.
This is the thing.
I can see him going to the Chargers, even the Chargers. The Chargers.
You know damn well Bill and his kid are going to be together next year, no matter where that is. To Washington, and the report's wrong about Bill relinquishing the GM thing. Whatever the case is, if Bill's coaching next year, his kid's going to be by his side.
Bill's holding the seat for him.
Yep.
And Mike Munchak, want to mention this to my Giant fans that are screaming and crying about the O-line piss poor play.
Yeah.
Mike Munchak is flirting with an NFL return. That would be an excellent hire for the New York Giants.
Who knows the offensive line? Who knows the line? Mike Munchak.
Yeah, Munchak would be welcome in East Rutherford. Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to talk about how they got here. Want to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just a couple of weeks ago, boys, you had some knuckleheads that literally were entertaining pushing Mike Tomlin out when they were losing to the Arizona Cardinals at home. They lost to Jacksonville at home. They couldn't score. They looked like dog shit. They did.
Yeah.
But it takes a real leader to pick a team off the mat with shit quarterback play. I mean, dude, Brett and I were laughing at this about a month ago.
Yeah.
The New York Giants and the New England Patriots were setting like historic lows for like offensive play.
Yeah.
I mean, you got back to the 70s when we were that bad on offense, and the Patriots were not much better. We were both in a big bowl of crap. But what I found funny about this is the team that was next up, who's going to be playing in Buffalo this week, was the third worst at the time, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But, you know, Najee Harris has had a good past month. You know, he's really stepped up, alleviated some pressure off of the quarterbacking situation. Guys are stepping up, you know, and Coach Tomlin, while I don't believe he'll get Coach of the Year because you have a DeMeco Ryans and a Kevin Stefanski who definitely deserve it, I would say the swing point in their season undeniably was winning that game against the Seattle Seahawks on the road. That saved their season, and then they started believing again. And, you know, Brett said something interesting. Bury them! The Ravens rolled with their backups, which is a quality football team nonetheless. And it was a hard-fought game. The Steelers snuck it out. I'll give you my prediction on Buffalo in a minute.
Yeah, call me crazy on that one, but I'm going to give you another crazy prediction going into this AFC matchup.
I say with Pittsburgh, you know who I take my hat off to? Mason Rudolph.
Yeah. Bro.
Went all the way down to basically almost the practice squad.
I'll give you another guy, George Pickens.
Yeah,
George Pickens. Everybody. Dude, everybody's been busting this guy's chops about being a team player, not blocking, not finishing routes.
He had to come on.
And he blew up. What was it, about 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 3 weeks
He
ago.
blew up. He had 2 touchdowns, 160 yards receiving, something like that. He blew up. That was the start and that gaining momentum going into that playoff push. And he stepped up. I mean, their defense is obviously top freaking tier. That defense is just absolutely dirty.
They really stepped up because for the first half of the year, they were struggling too.
Yeah, they were.
Man, because he was basically out of the league. I mean, he was at the third string. Your next stop is the practice squad. And he comes in there and just like, I got this. Here's my shot again.
As their opponents go, the Buffalo Bills. Quite the story here, too. I believe that the swing point in the Bills season, although it was a game that they lost, was the overtime defeat in Philadelphia, where there was a lot of outrage all over about a lot of missed calls or a lot of ignored calls in that game. Buffalo could have and should have won in overtime. Gabe Davis, Josh Allen just, misread each other. Ultimately, Jalen Hurts leads them down the field. They win. Buffalo blew a 2-score lead. And it was like, oh, here we go. Same old Bills. One of the most talented squads in the league. But they always find a way to not get to the next level. They have not lost a game since then.
Nope.
You know, they have not lost a game since then. Another character-defining moment, in my opinion, was them basically getting shut down on offense for about 75-80% of the Giants' primetime game. It was an ugly win. They did enough to win. And those are two games that I think like really showed a different kind of toughness to this Buffalo team. You go into Miami, you beat them for the season sweep, and you jump from number 6 all the way up to number 2. And the biggest thing, and you ask any Bills fan this, they're already thinking about round 2 because that could be Kansas City. And finally, the Bills get them in Western New York. They don't have to go to Arrowhead this time. And the Bills have had their number in the regular season. The Chiefs have had their number in the playoffs. But that is going to be – I don't like to get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Tip my hand. But in the event that happens, that's going to be a phenomenal game. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, you know, it kind of has like that same feeling of Brady and Peyton. You know, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it was. God, what were they? Buffalo was 6-6. I think week 12, week 13. Miami was in the lead of the division. They were 10-3. You know, they fell off. You know, Buffalo is just they're winning. They probably have the best momentum going into the playoffs besides Dallas. You know what I mean?
So it's like, but to agree with you, I mean, yeah, dude, like, and that's a whole nother layer. And we're not
like, yeah, I mean, it's just they're hot, and you know, we've seen in the past, history-wise, the hottest team going into the playoffs usually ends up going all the way or winning the big dance. You know what I mean? So it's like they're hot right now, man. Their defense is playing well. If Josh Allen can limit the INTs,
that's his own issue, yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, that's just he's got to stop that, dude. Come playoff time, he can't turn this ball over.
Where they ran the ball just ferociously down Dallas's throat.
Yeah,
that was, and it's crazy. Their 3 biggest character-defining games, in my opinion, are 3 against the NFC East, which is remarkable when you think about it. A lot of times, when you have these interconference games, especially now with the 17-game slate, they ultimately determine in a lot of ways each other's playoff brackets. It's pretty wild how that works out. Keeping it in the East, Brett's another team that's a rival of Brett's squad. Miami Dolphins, a couple of weeks back, they were flirting with the 1 seed.
Shout out to Eli Apple. You know what?
I saw that play.
Dude, I'll try to hold it. I can't hold it no more.
Yeah, I know. He's like, yeah.
Shout out to Eli Apple.
Like I saw him too. I saw him do it.
He was a difference maker.
Boom.
Okay, let's revisit this in a couple of days.
Derek Carr improving, Eli Apple doing his thing. I mean, come on, dude. I'm on a roll here. I'm on a roll. Let's keep going.
With the Dolphins. Jalen Ramsey was their big pickup. He missed a decent chunk of the first half of the year. He did come back earlier than expected. I feel that their defense schematically has gotten worse since Ramsey's come back.
He can't cover, dude. He's holding in he can't cover. Eli Apple has been playing actually better than Ramsey. That's something I don't want to say. Crab Apple has been playing better than Jalen Ramsey.
And Ramsey can't tackle neither. He can't tackle.
He's holding like crazy. He can't tackle.
Yeah. I know.
Apple, man.
I mean, and granted, the Dolphins' injuries aren't really helping their cause. You know, I mean, Don was hurt there for a while. Hill and Waddle have been swapping injuries.
Yeah, Chubb is out of there.
But this is
Apple, dude.
Brett was adamant that Miami needed to at least get the 2 seed.
Yeah.
To avoid having to play too much on the road because of the really rough cold weather.
Yeah.
This is a rematch. These teams played in a neutral site earlier in the year, but now because of Miami really dropping the ball down the stretch, they got to go to KC where it's going to be below 0 temperatures. That is going to be brutal. And that kind of weather, similar to what they had to go into, this is even worse than what they dealt with last year in Buffalo. This is even worse. As the Chiefs, how they got here. Defense, guys. It was not offense. This is one of the more trying seasons, the most trying season in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era. Travis Kelce mixed bag, still a quality year for a tight end, but when you look at what his standard is versus what he's done, the Chiefs have become more of a gritty team with a running game now. But it's the defense. The defense is going to take this team as far as they intend to go if they intend on defending this Super Bowl. But you still got your issues. Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney. These guys are still having trouble catching the damn ball.
I have no pity for Kadarius Bonehead.
Hell no.
I wish he keep dropping passes. I think after this season they're gonna cut him. I think he's done. But Buffalo going into not Buffalo, Miami going to KC. You see what they were saying, how the fans are complaining how they shouldn't be playing the game. They should play it in a neutral field because it's going to be too cold for Miami to play in KC.
Out of here.
It's one of the coldest, but it's not the coldest. You know, in Missouri in January, it's cold. Every year it's cold in the Midwest.
I don't want to hear a damn thing because the New York Giants kicked the longest field goal in Lambeau playoff history in the third coldest game when TC's face was cracking up.
Yeah, it was cold that day. It was like -12 that day. It was cold.
Yeah, listen, boys, we've been waiting all year for this KC offense to come alive. And I mean, Richie, you hit on them running the ball. They're protecting Patrick, not all the time. But Mahomes is the one making the plays for this team. He's the one keeping the ball, keeping these drives alive. You know what I mean? Like, and it just, I'm still waiting for this offense to come around. I don't know if I'm going to see it in the playoffs. I'm hoping I see it, but I mean, we've been waiting all season long for this to happen. I don't see it happening. Kelce is still up Tay-Tay's ass. It is what it is. I just, I can't. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I think
this game, I think this will be the game because Miami got too much missing on defense. Nick Chubb is gone, so you got your edge rusher. He's gone. They're missing too much on defense.
Not to mention the stuff going on in Tyreek Hill's life with the recent fire in the house. Waddle's dinged up. Mostert's dinged up. A child who's healthy right now has been fragile all season. And who the hell is going to keep Chris Jones off of Tua Tagovailoa?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only exciting matchup you have here is the Tyreek Hill going against his former team. You know what I mean? Like that's the only highlight of this matchup.
Well, this is
and in -4 degree weather, wind chill's probably going to be like -10. That ball's going to be hard as a rock. Everybody's going to be dropping footballs every place. Everybody's going to be dropping footballs.
I'm not going to just bury Miami for one simple reason. Last year they went into Buffalo with a third-string quarterback and almost pulled off an upset. Tagovailoa, for the better part of the season, was an MVP candidate. And we all know that KC's defense has struggled. You watched the first game, which was at a neutral site overseas. It was a tale of two halves where the Chiefs built up a big lead and the Dolphins came back late. To Brett's point, it's going to be tough. The Dolphins got to be able to run the ball to have a legitimate shot. I don't think this is going to be a blowout, but I do think the Chiefs are better by a score. I got the Chiefs winning this thing 29-23. I like the Chiefs here.
That's still a high-scoring game in that kind of weather.
You got to factor in that the defense could lead to some of these scores.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 22-19. Bucker hits a game winner. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. KC just doesn't have the offense. If they get time of possession, they run the ball like they've been doing. Mahomes extends plays the way he's been doing, and the defense plays the way they've been playing. Then absolutely, KC has a really, really good chance of winning this game at home. I'm still taking KC on this one. I don't see Miami pulling off this upset on the road, especially with them dinged up all the time. And like we already hit on the weather. I mean, this is a nasty cold front coming through. Like my parents live in upstate New York, and they were getting 70-mile-an-hour gusts last night with the freaking snow. Now, imagine that 2 days later up in KC when it's -4 degrees. They're going to have gusts. They're going to have wind. It's going to be freezing. Miami is not equipped for this kind of shit. So it's just, I'm taking KC all day long.
I guess you're willing to say that Shed picked the right week to come to Florida.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going KC 27-17. I've been at Arrowhead Stadium, not at its coldest day, but I've been in there. And the wind is one of the winds that whips, like, it doesn't swirl like in
Jersey.
Yeah, like in Jersey. It whips in. And so you
wait a second. Back this up. That asshole's coming to Florida this week?
He's already in Florida.
He's in Florida. Yeah, Carson.
He hasn't called me. He hasn't called me, texted me, nothing. What do you mean he's in Florida now?
When's at the resort.
What a jerk off.
All right, listen, can we focus on that later? We are covering football here.
Yeah, I'm going 27-17.
He says you beat the 49ers on the road.
I'm going on vacation.
With the 7 seed. That warrants you take your family to.
Yeah, I'm coming to Florida. Yeah, I'm going 27-17. The swirling wind is going to hurt. There's not enough defense to get Patrick Mahomes. Chubb is gone.
Yeah, that is the
people on defense.
And I have a feeling Ramsey's going to have a rough go.
He's going to have a rough go.
It's all on Eli Apple.
It's all on Eli Apple.
Yeah, good luck, boys. Good
Nailed
luck.
It.
All right. How did the Texans and the Browns get here? Our final game's gonna be Pittsburgh at Buffalo because it's the Sunday game. Okay. Who do you start with here? You got a rookie of the year candidate, probably the winner, in CJ Stroud. You got 2 coach of the year candidates. I already mentioned that at the top of the hour. Kevin Stefanski, DeMeco Ryans. You also have the resurgence of the career of Devin Singletary, who kind of took a lot of snaps away from sophomore player Dameon Pierce. Nico just on the scene now. Like this Texas team has really busted down a lot of expectations, but I'm going to keep it a buck. A big reason why they got here is because the Jacksonville Jaguars really choked. But they still had to do it. When they missed that field goal against the Broncos, a lot of people were burying the Texans. As the Browns go, Joe Flacco has completely changed the trajectory of what people think that this team can do. Because, I mean, you're talking about Deshaun Watson going back to last year, fast forward this year before his season-ending injury, still didn't look comfortable. Every quarterback after Watson did not look comfortable, but they were winning it the hard way, running the ball. They lost Nick Chubb, who's a top 5 running back in this league, early in the year. This team has overcome so much. And in the first meeting in Houston just a few weeks ago, Amari Cooper had a Madden-like performance.
Unbelievable.
And that
150 yards by halftime.
That has been Houston's Waterloo because Houston can get stuck in some of these shootouts, coming out on the wrong side of it or having to outscore their opponents. If this game was in Cleveland, I think without a doubt, I would take the Browns without even batting my eyes. This is gonna be a classic, though. A lot better than Game 1. A lot better than Game 1. But I still have the Cleveland Browns pulling it out. I'm going Cleveland 30, Houston 24 in overtime. Joe Flacco gets the dub and probably ends up in Baltimore in round 2. And that's going to be a lot of storylines over there. But I like the Browns here, guys. I love what the Texans have done. I love what their future holds for them. But I think the Browns are a better team right now.
I'm going to Cleveland 30-20. I think that Cleveland defense is going to they're going to go after CJ Stroud. And I got to give Stroud credit, man. That guy just took over that team.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
how mad are the people in Carolina I'm not hating on Bryce Young. It's a bad situation, but man, Stroud is the best of the bunch without question.
He don't even look like a rookie, dude.
Hell no.
Like a rookie.
That kid has been incredible.
Yeah, I'm going 30-20. I don't. It's not that I don't think Houston can deal with him. It's just, man, that Cleveland defense, man. And now that Joe Flacco has really gotten into the game and it's playoff time, and Joe Flacco in the playoffs, man, the guy stepped it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy stepped it up.
Yeah. That metric, in that metric of clutch factor, there's only a few guys that Flacco is next to, like the Bradys, the Roethlisbergers. Yeah, I'm going to say it, the Eli's. You can say what you want about Eli's regular season stats. In crunch time, that dude was clutch. Joe Flacco that mix in terms of clutch value.
Imagine if Flacco didn't play in Baltimore.
Yeah, because I mean,
he would have been in the Super Bowl a few more times.
Yeah,
dude, he was 3-7 after the Ravens in the last few years. Everybody thought he was cooked. It took 4 injuries to get him off the couch. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, it's a good story for the NFL. I'm pretty sure the NFL wants, the Browns to make it to the second round to play against Baltimore.
Oh my God!
There you go.
Yeah, that's the script, but it is what it is. No, I mean, I'm still gonna pick Cleveland anyway. Okay. I just think they're a better team. They play in a tougher division. They've been through more adversity. With, like you said, Nick Chubb being hurt early. Now Flacco's in the mix. Ojoku has been probably the best tight end the past 5-6 weeks in the league. He's playing lights out. Like you said, Amari Cooper, he's playing great ball. Ford has really stepped up. But that defense is still top caliber.
Mr. Reliable on those third downs.
Yeah, man. But we hit on this defense in the AFC North preview. Like, this defense is going to carry this team pretty far in these playoffs. We weren't wrong on that, and they're going to continue it on the road against a rookie quarterback. He may not look like a rookie, but he still is a rookie. This is his first playoff game against a top 5 championship defense. We'll see how the kid does.
And Brown's defense too, and I think he's going to hit CJ with all kinds of exotic shit.
Oh, everything, dude. He's going to throw everything in the rookie. He's going to Belichick this kid. He's going to Belichick.
When you first started out, Brett, I thought you was going to be like, yeah, the NFL wants the story, but CJ Stroud's going to win it. I thought she's going to.
No, I can't. No, I can't go that route. No,
he's about to spoil everything.
I can't go that route. You're
going to have a big game.
You got a veteran in the league going against a rookie. It's great. It's like I said, it's a great story. He's done a lot of good things with that team, but Cleveland right now, they're just too seasoned. They've had a tougher schedule. They play in a tougher division. They've been through a lot more. So they're easily 31-23 final score Cleveland.
Who else in the NFL could say that they defeated the 49ers and the Ravens this year?
Only Flacco.
That's huge. Well, Flacco actually didn't get clipped the Ravens.
He didn't
actually, this is an even weirder metric. They didn't win either one of those games with Flacco, and now they're a better offense. That's guys. That's scary. All right.
Yeah.
We've got the final AFC game on Sunday. Idris, you hit us with your prediction, correct?
I didn't give a score.
I'm sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
I don't think anybody gave a score for Pittsburgh.
I said 31-23 Cleveland.
Oh yeah, I did the Cleveland.
I just want to make sure we covered Cleveland.
Yeah. I just talking about the Pittsburgh Buffalo game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna hit on that right now. We spoke about it earlier. What both these teams overcame to get here. We know who the favorite is in this game. We don't have to overemphasize that. I'm going to ask all of you, each of you, and then I'm going to hit you with my thing. Is there any way that the Pittsburgh Steelers go into Buffalo and silence them, shock them, and pull a rabbit out of their hat? Because the one advantage that Pittsburgh does have, truly, is they have the more seasoned, experienced coach. Nothing against McDermott. He's a good coach in his own right, but he's not Mike Tomlin.
I think they can, but the reason I don't think they will, because T.J. Watt's not playing.
Is he officially out?
He's out.
Oh, that's a terrible loss.
He's out. And with him, because I checked my phone, unless things change, the last I saw, they say he was out.
That sucks.
And had he not been out, let me see. T.J. Watt.
But I'll be honest, even if he plays, he wouldn't have been 100%.
Yeah, but you can still use them. You can still use them as a decoy. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and see with that, I think that's a blow to the defense.
Yeah, that's a top 5 defensive player in the league. Bottom line.
Yeah, 100%.
They would. I want to pick Pittsburgh because of Mike Tomlin and the way they've been playing, and I know how Buffalo sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
like we got it, they got it, and they just they disappoint you. Yeah. I'm gonna go Buffalo with the hiccups. I'm gonna go 27-17.
I'm really close to your final, Idris. Only 3 points difference. Buffalo 30, Pittsburgh 17.
Yeah.
That last Pittsburgh touchdown is gonna be late. Like real.
That's how I think they're gonna jump on Pittsburgh right out the gate and let them know, look, we come to play.
Yeah. Listen, it's this is nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, boys.
That's what they do.
This is Chris Berman's team. They got a shot. They have a legitimate shot at this. They got a home game. I mean, the weather's going to be nasty too. And they love playing in this kind of shit. The fans are going to go nuts. Bills Mafia is going to come out. And Idris, I mean, know what? That's the biggest news you can ever possibly give to an offense that can score like they can.
Yep.
I mean, they're gonna be aggressive. They're gonna go at them. They're gonna run the ball. They're gonna chuck the ball down the field. I got Buffalo coming up big in this one. I think they're gonna freaking steamroll them. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be like a 35-16, 35-17 matchup. No Watt in that lineup. I mean, that's huge, man. And that Pittsburgh offense, I just don't think can keep up with that Buffalo offense. Like if they try to make it a shootout, they ain't gonna come anywhere near winning this game.
Bro, you've seen the Steelers' offensive metrics. They could. The running game needs to work in order for that offense to even look functional. And I will say this. Buffalo is susceptible against the run. It's not like they have the defense that they had a few years ago. They're not as strong as they were. But I'm sorry, Josh Allen, Steph Diggs, and Gabe Davis can take over this damn game. And even if they keep Cook in check, I still think the Bills got just too much for these guys.
Kincaid.
Yeah, that's another matchup. You're right about that one.
Yeah, exactly. And with Pittsburgh, it's not like they can say if Mason Rudolph struggles, let's go to another quarterback. You don't have another quarterback.
They got nobody. Got nobody.
See if they can loosen them up for 1 week.
Oh yeah. But like Ben, you want to come back or somebody? Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the problem. I mean, Mason Rudolph's been playing good, but
he's got to go on the road up in Western New York against that crowd.
He's going to run James Cook to the right.
I don't see it happening. And the Pittsburgh, like the Steelers fans, they travel well. You're going to see a lot of Steelers fans there too. But I just don't. I don't see them pulling this upset. No way.
Allen, when he runs, he gets his biggest yards running to the right, and that's what T.J. Watt's supposed to be.
Yes, they're going to exploit the shit out of his absence. Got some good news, boys. Got some good news. Because we have just about 16 minutes left.
Oh, man.
It's time. My favorite segment. Start, bench, cut. Who can beat the Ravens? Start one, bench one, cut one. Rules of start, bench, cut. In case you're a new viewer, I give each of my guys roughly about 90 seconds to make their point. I will explain who I agree with more because I already have a point in my head going into this. Bills, Browns, Chiefs, the 3 teams that we have unanimously decided are going to win this weekend's AFC games. I'm going to start it up with you, Idris. I'm going to let Brett finish it. Okay. Bills, Browns, Chiefs. You're going to start one. You're going to bench one. You're going to cut one. Who has the best chance of knocking out number 1 Baltimore?
Start the Browns, bench the Bills, cut the Chiefs. Reason I'm starting the Browns, Joe Flacco experience. They got the top 5 defense. Flacco knows what it's like. He's been there, done that. He knows the stadium in Baltimore, so he's not going to get rattled there. With the Bills, I think they have enough to do it. However, Josh Allen with the interceptions, that'll kill him. It doesn't matter. That'll kill him. And you throwing against Myles Garrett and all that, nah, it's not going to work. It's going to be hard for them to run the ball if they did with the Chiefs. The Chiefs will have to do it on defense, but defense is not going to be enough because if you get over the top of Chris Jones and them, you got a clear shot to the end zone. That Chiefs offense ain't enough. Kadarius Toney, he can't catch the ball. Pacheco's not running particularly well, doing better. Kelsey, of course, he's stuck up Tay-Tay's ass. He's not playing. Actually, he's playing average compared to how he normally plays.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, like David Njoku, like Brett said earlier in the show, has outshined Kelsey the last 5-6 weeks, whatever have you.
That's what I'm saying. See, Njoku's gonna come. Njoku's coming off the edge. If Njoku's coming off the edge, he's playing like a receiver.
So you believe it's the Browns that have the best chance to knock off
the best shot because of that defense, man.
And you said bench Buffalo and cut KC?
Yeah.
Bretsky, you're up.
It's kind of hard not to argue with Idris, man. I kind of had the same in mind, but I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna flip it just to be that guy.
Okay, let's see.
I'm gonna start Buffalo. I'm gonna bench Cleveland. I'm cutting KC.
Okay, let me hear this.
All right, I'm gonna start Buffalo just because I have that feeling about them this year. I have that gut feeling. Baltimore, they lost their last game of the season, and they're on a bye week. Teams like that, they don't go very far in the playoffs, man. They do not go very far in the playoffs. The fact that they've had, 2 weeks off going into the third week, haven't played with each other. You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't add up. It's not success. Buffalo has been in playoff mode since week 13. They have been winning. They are hot. They can beat any team in the NFL right now. They could be any team, and they've proven it. So I'm taking Buffalo, number one. I'm going to bench Cleveland. Flacco's old. Yes, he has the experience. Baltimore's going to blitz at him all day. I have a feeling he's too slow to be in the pocket. They're going to blitz at him. They're going to come at him all day long. He's too slow. He's not mobile enough to move around. I'm cutting KC. I mean, we've already hit on this numerous times. They drop too many balls, and their defense is only going to keep them in games for so long. Patrick Mahomes can only take this team so far. All right, but yeah, Buffalo, baby. Circle the wagons all the way.
This is interesting because while I do believe the Buffalo Bills can actually win the AFC, I think in order for them to be able to pull that feat off, they need the Browns to knock out the Ravens. I do tend to agree with Idris in the sense that I think the Browns are the tailor-made matchup for the best possibility to knock out the Baltimore Ravens. And in the NFC, just putting it out there early, if we're going to see Buffalo Dallas Part 3,
no,
somebody needs to knock out the 49ers. That somebody could be the Rams.
Don't say Dallas.
In the NFC.
And you're talking
to knock out
the biggest Dallas hater on the show, man. You know he ain't big in them.
I'm just being honest. Because in my opinion, the Buffalo Bills can't beat the Baltimore Ravens, and the Dallas Cowboys cannot beat the San Francisco 49ers. So in order for both of those teams to get where they're going, they need somebody else to knock those two teams out. Idris for the win, but I give Brett credit for putting up a very good argument because I think both you guys made a good point. I just happen to agree with Idris a little more on this one.
Let me make a point on the Cleveland Browns and Baltimore game. I wanted to make that point earlier. You know why I say also why Cleveland can go in there and beat Baltimore? Remember, Joe Flacco was the quarterback. Lamar Jackson was his backup. They kind of shit on Joe Flacco to put Lamar Jackson.
Jackson was pissed when he got drafted by the Ravens.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go to New England.
And see, also with that, the pressure's going to be on Baltimore because you got this man coming back to your stadium.
That's right.
You cannot let Joe Flacco come in your stadium that you used to run and beat you.
Yeah.
And if you're down 21-10 or 30-20,
or you're going to hear the boogers
left, them hands are going to be shaking like this old ass mother effer came in here who just left his couch.
Yeah. His couch and his 5 kids.
He's about to beat us. He's about to beat the guy that we benched. We got to beat the guy that we benched him to put in there.
He tore his ear, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was either against the Browns or the Patriots. I feel like it was
and then they let him go after that.
Yes, indeed.
They let him go.
Like it's very eerily similar to like how Kurt Warner had to hit rock bottom before he sprung up again.
Yeah.
He kind of got a little bit of it back with the Giants, but the Giants were ready to start Eli, but he really got it back in Arizona.
But you know what Joe Flacco about being moved? He's never been a good Joe Flacco in the pocket was like what's the kid? Bernie Kosar. He's never been a guy who moves out the pocket.
Damn, that's a blast from the past right there.
Bernie Kosar.
The guy that Bill Belichick kicked out of Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bernie
He got
Kosar
fired because a lot of people didn't forgive him for that.
Yeah.
Kosar was like Mr. Everything to that city.
He was.
You know, and how history could have been different were it not for John Elway the Drive. You might have had the Browns and the Giants in the bowl.
I want the Ravens to win, but I'll be honest with you. If Joe Flacco took the Browns to the Super Bowl and won, I don't care what you say about LeBron. That's the man they're gonna praise.
Oh yeah.
Browns.
No, like we're not talking about LeBron. Let's not get on that topic. But listen,
I like
a team that they won a championship. This is a team that outside of winning in Major League the movie, outside of the LeBron victory over Golden State,
they've had the.
You got to go generationally back to when the Indians, now the Guardians.
Yeah.
You got to go way back.
Way back. You got to go back.
I mean, how did the Cubs break their curse? They played the Cleveland team.
Yeah, and then the first it was Rookie of the Year that won it. You know, they won the World Series, and then the Cubs won shortly after that.
I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan, but I'm not gonna lie.
25 years.
I'm not a Browns fan, but if there's one team I would like to see to win the Super Bowl, would be this Browns team with Flacco.
Well, I mean, it's a great story. Dude, at his age, the only guy that's older that has done anything remotely close to this is Tom Brady. It's insane. And Joe Flacco had some serious battles with Tom Brady, revisiting the Ravens-Patriots rivalry.
Yep. He take them to the Super Bowl and win.
And you know what's wild? Justin Tucker's still there.
LeBron is the greatest Cleveland player ever.
Many faces have changed, but Justin Tucker is still there.
Still there.
The guy's a legend. That guy's a legend, dude.
He left Cleveland, went to Baltimore. There are so many side stories. We know the backstory. Art Modell goes to Baltimore. The Browns, one of those iconic teams in the league, leave for 4 years, come back. See the Ravens beat the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. They're like, fuck, that's our team.
Then they do it again. Then they win it again.
That's another
reason. They couldn't win one. They couldn't get there. They go to Baltimore. They win 2.
7 against Flacco. The lights went out. Stories galore. Wild card is going to be insane. Fellas, great job tonight. I love the insight from both of you. And I'm looking forward to a couple of days from now doing the NFC. I like how this all kind of played. Then we do our start bench cut. And I have a feeling it might be something similar on a start bench cut with who could beat the Niners.
The only thing I hate about the playoffs this year, why put Philly and Tampa Bay on Monday night? That should be like Dallas and Green Bay or.
You know what I think it is? I think that in a way it's a punishment to a level. And the only reason I'm okay with that. Because
punishment to who? Like you talk about the people watching?
You got the weakest division, in my opinion, the NFC South.
Yeah.
And you've got the weakest team that backed into the playoffs, the Philadelphia Eagles. So whoever wins that game gets punished. And whoever wins that game probably gets the reward of going to San Francisco, unless if the Green Bay Packers pull off the big upset against the Dallas Cowboys. That's another one. NFC coming up. McCarthy, his old team, LaFleur. You got Love. That's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish my father was around for this one. I know he would have been fired up, but as much as I want to count the Packers out, I'm not going to do that just yet. We're not going to tip my hand. We'll talk about the NFC just a couple of days from now. For Idris and for Brett, good job, boys. Both of you killed it tonight. I am your host, Richie, making a point. Like and subscribe to the channel, the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast on YouTube. Announcements to come for our NFC show, and we will be back soon. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Playoffs are here.